Welcome to Duality Gamecast, the show for people who love to play games.
Hello everyone, welcome to Duality Gamecast. I'm Matt.
And I'm William.
And today we're taking a look at Codenames by Vlada Chvatal.
In the game Codenames, spy masters know the secret identities of 25 agents. Their teammates know the agents only by their codenames. Spy masters take turns giving one-word clues. A clue may relate to multiple words on the table. The field operatives try to guess which words their spy master meant. When a field operative touches a word, the spy master reveals its secret identity. If it is one of their team's agents, the operatives may keep guessing. Otherwise, it's the other team's turn. The first team to contact all their agents wins the game.
Codenames is a team-based word association game for 2 or more players. To begin the game, first players divide themselves into 2 even teams, one designated as blue and one as red. You deal the 25 codename cards, and each team picks a spy master. The spy masters secretly draw and place a key card. The key card on it shows which codenames are blue, which ones are red, which ones are neutral, and it also on the outside has a color which shows which team is first. The first team takes a double agent card, flips it to their color, places it in their stack. The game's pretty straightforward from this point. Basically, a team is going to say a word and a number. The spy master is going to say a word and a number, and then the players on that team are going to point at cards, guessing them. So blue might say, let's see here, let's look at the card, might say shape 1. Blue team looks around, tick's not a shape. Square. Square is a shape. He said 1, sounds good. When they touch it, they lock it in. Then the spy master looks at the card. If they got it right, they put their color on top of it. If they get it wrong, by either picking the other team's color, the team puts their color token down on it. Let's say they pick spy here. That would end the blue team's turn. If they pick a tan one, oh, they killed an innocent bystander. That's horrible. And if they pick the black one, they actually got themselves an assassin, and the whole team instantly loses, and the other team wins. After a team makes their guesses, and they either run out of guesses or they decide to stop because they're timid, they pass the other team. Then they say a clue and a number, and it goes back and forth like this until one team covers up all their spaces. When they do, they win, do a victory dance, and the other team loses. So that was my expert rundown of how Codenames works. Matt, what do you think of the gameplay?
This game is... It's a light game, right? It's more of a casual, social game. I think could be very accessible for different levels of gameriness.
Yes, I agree.
You could definitely play this with friends and family who maybe don't do a lot of heavy board gaming, but it's got enough going on that I know just from our experience, people who do play board gaming as a hobby also enjoyed this game. It has that espionage theme, which is really cool. It's kind of funny. This kind of rolled out at sort of a similar time frame to Spyfall.
Yep.
And I feel like Spyfall was definitely the media darling, and Codenames kind of went under the radar for a little while. But I think people are starting to realize now that in the tabletop hobby community, this is probably the more gamer game of the two. At least that's the feeling I get.
Well, yeah, because I mean, Spyfall is way more about like the conversation, the question you're asking. This is the type of game that yes, you can play with any age group. I mean, you could play this with kids,
yeah,
and they could enjoy it and understand it. Some stuff might go over their head, but that's what you're playing in teams in this. That's the other good thing.
Yeah.
It gets rid of a lot of what the social games that I don't like Dixon, something that kind of puts someone on the spot. Everybody gets put on the spot at some point, or even Cranium, any of that stuff, where you have to kind of ad-lib, ask questions, and think outside the box. And if you're not comfortable with that, if you're a more analytical thinker, this lets you just don't be the spy master. And now you're this person who's in the team. It's like, all right, this and this, I can look at this and associate some stuff. And well, they said there's only 3, but I see 4 words that associate with it. So which one, it lets you do a puzzle aspect to it, assuming that the spy master is competent. But it also lets the people who are maybe more social in how they play, or maybe more into the cranium type games, can still find like people who like charades can like this game.
Yeah.
People who like I said, more analytical, more thought, more mathematical type games can still get something out of this, whereas you don't so much with Spyfall. It's a pure social.
Yeah, that's much more the verbal interaction between people. This has that deductive piece to it, like you said, that'll feed the people that are more into that kind of thing. But it still also has that, oh my gosh, I can't believe you thought that was a good clue for Spider. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it has that funny kind of party game element to it. So you could play this, in your gaming group. You could play this at a party. You could take it to your friendly local game store, set it up, and play it. Very accessible. That's one of the things I really like about it. The rules are clean.
Yeah, it's like it's like a piece of paper folded in half. Simple to read. There's not a lot mechanically to have to understand. I mean, my little gameplay thing, I stammer and stutter a little bit, but it's really short. There's not a lot you have to explain to people. And that's part of the intro in it, right? It's like if you're bringing this game to a table and someone else has played it before, and there's 6 other people there, you can say, "Oh, you guys never played this before? Well, we're not really into board games. That's cool. We'll be the Spy Masters. Let's divide up into teams. Mm-hmm. We're gonna give you clues. Try to pick stuff."
Yeah,
and that's all they have to know. And then you're in and running, and like, oh no, type of thing can happen if it's more that group, or you get the people who sit down and you start trying to really next level it. You start trying to do things with, there's some expert options they give in there for you, because one of the rules is when you give a clue, you say a number, they're allowed to make up to 1 guess more than that, right? So if I say, the example they give is like feathers 2, that means 2 things on the board relate to feathers, and you're allowed a 3rd guess if on like a previous turn you couldn't figure something out, but you think you have it now. And there's some special stuff that they offer, like for advanced play, you can say 0 as a number, so you could say feathers 0, meaning nothing on our team relates to feathers at all. Like this doesn't help you right now, or it might help you if you get down to a smaller pool near the end. And you can also say unlimited, which is an interesting thing because it's almost more like, okay, I've given you guys a bunch of clues. I need you guys to think back over the last 4 turns. We've missed some stuff. You guys need to pick some stuff right now for us to catch up. Go, 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 go. It has some, repeated gameplay aspects to it where I can see teams kind of getting in sync with each other.
Yeah. Well, all of these games, Spyfall's that way too. It's like the relationship between the Codemaster and the people on his team could really affect what kind of clues are given and what kind of deduction goes on. This game does have that one rule. I feel like it's one of those rules that in a party game atmosphere is going to get blown off, but it's like you can't really do sort of like the double entendre clue, right?
Right, like they said, like you couldn't say, I don't know, like arachnid, like 2, and have 2 mean something besides 2 things relating to a spider. Or I guess the example they give is like purple 8. And what they mean is something on the board's purple and something on the board relates to 8. You can't do it like that. You can't do just purely rhyming things. You can't say, or just a letter. You can't be like B7. Okay, you'll find 7 letters on there that start with B, and those are our letters. You can't do stuff like that. And I can see it becoming a problem, but again, all that's controlled by the Spy Masters. So if you have a party game and everybody's roaring, and you have a couple people who are really serious, they should be the Spy Masters.
Yeah,
because that's the thing, is that there's 2 aspects to this game, and you might have some people that really enjoy being the Spy Master, and they're having to do a mental puzzle beforehand, and then kind of trying to explain to other people, and they might find that enjoyable, and the group can then figure that out as they go. So I think that whole issue is a minor one that can come up, and it's something that only relates to one person or 2 people in the game. So even in a big group, you might have some people who you're like, oh, that person's always going to mess up and do that. Because another thing that comes up that they mentioned is you're not supposed to give any clues, right? Like you're not supposed to say, oh, this seems like a stretch, but red 7
leading the witness.
Yeah, you're supposed to say a word and a number, and then be stone-faced, and when someone's like and looks at you, you're supposed to give
roll your eyes or anything.
Yeah. So there's some of that, but it's not that hard because I feel like most of the time when we played it, the people are so busy talking to themselves and doing stuff, they don't normally look at you for a clue. And if you're kind of looking at the other Spy Master or whatever it is, keep each other in check, it's not an issue at all.
The one last thing I would say is I think there's a lot of replayability in the box.
Oh, yes.
You've got a ton of cards with different word on both sides, right? And then these key cards, you have a ton of those too. Plus, the position can rotate, right?
Yep.
So, man, I can't imagine ever using these all.
Right, and the thing is, like, even if you had the same... Like, you could take... Like, the way they suggest is when you get finished, just flip over the 25 cards, you have a whole new board, draw a new one of the keys out, and done. But in reality, you could just do... I mean, you don't want to just turn it because someone might be able to remember it all, but replacing the key itself would just change how this board works. Like, you wouldn't have to change... I mean, that could be an interesting way to play it, even, is leave the same words out, but change the key, because all of a sudden stuff starts getting really weird, because clues that last time meant something won't work right now.
They belong to the other team now.
Yeah, or like part of it, they overlap in a different way, so you can't use that same thing. So, yeah, there's so much variety that I can't imagine anybody memorizing this game. I mean, this isn't even all the cards. There's just a ton of these things.
Yeah.
And there's so many keys, and they can rotate in so many different directions. Yeah, it has... Basically, it's limitless replays on this game, I feel. There is a ton of stuff. What do you think of the quality of it?
Overall, it's fine. You get these little cards, but... I normally don't like little cards, but you got table space issues, especially if it's a large group, so they don't really bother me.
You don't shuffle them, which is my thing with the little cards. At least you don't have to shuffle them at all.
Shuffle them. Key cards everything's easy to read. We'll start right there. Clean. There's not much you need to read, so that's awesome. You get a little timer, which is really just putting someone on a clock because they're taking too long, right? But as again, in a party game, you may never use this thing. Yeah, and in the rules it even says, this is here for when the one player's taking too long, you're like, hey man, I'm putting you on a clock. Or if you're taking too long, you're like, I can't figure it out, you can voluntarily flip this thing over. It's not very long. It's there just to, kind of put a little something so you don't just say, hey, you got 2 minutes, and then you try to watch or something, you just flip that over. No, the game's very simple, small box game, card-based. So there's no bells and whistles. There's no, super high-end components. The art's very clean but plain. So that's not what you're buying this game for. But it's really a price point. I mean, I think you can get this, depending on where you order it from or buy it from, somewhere between $15, $20. So for a party game that's super replayable, the price point for what you get in the box, I think, is really good and kind of ahead of the curve on most board game pricing these days. So it works for me. How about you? Yeah, the components, again, like you said, all easy to read. The art is interesting to me. It kind of looks Archer-esque, for lack of a better term. I could see some color confusion if you can't see color as well. Red and blue. I mean, it's red and blue, so this is not like green, but they made all the tiles double-sided. One side has a woman, one side has a man. I mean, they look different. On one side, the red one, the women don't have sunglasses, and the men do, and it's vice versa on the blue ones. Yeah. So I get you out of that.
Yeah, these things, the little key cards, it's circles and squares, but they aren't really, the squares are kind of round-shaped. I feel like I don't have any problems with it. I can see just fine with the colors, but I can see someone who has problems with color maybe not being able to, at a glance, visualize this as easy.
Yeah, they'd have to get used to it.
So, with that in mind, Matt, with all the horrible color confusion problems this game obviously has, what would you say your overall rating is? And that's using our rating system that we standardly on. We haven't explained in a while, so I think we'll go over that real quick. We have a pass. That's a don't buy this game, pass on it. We have a like it, which is, it's good, I'll play it sometimes, I probably don't go out and seek it, maybe the right niche might really like it. We have a love it, which is, yes, I want to play this game, every time it comes up I'm happy. And then we have a must buy, which is, if you don't have this game, you're wrong. Basically is what we're saying. You're a bad person for not buying this game.
Well, maybe not that much.
No, that's what I mean when I say it anyways. But on that rating, what do you give this one?
Well, I was kind of going back and forth between a love it and a must buy, but the pivot point for me here is bang for your buck. This is a quality party game with tons of replayability at a really good price point. So that moves it from a love it to a must buy for me, based purely on it's just too good of a deal, too much bang for your buck not to have it in your collection. So for me, it's a must buy.
Yeah, you know what? I always feel like I'm always echoing you whenever we do this thing. For myself, I would give this a love it. I think, though, that if I was to have to give it a rating, on like some website somewhere, my stamp, I'm going to give this a must buy because it is, to me, the party game that everyone can play. I can play this with my mom, I can play this with my nephew, I can play this with you, I can play it with you, and it will work just fine. So for that, yeah, I think it's the must buy because it is the game that fulfills a big group of people, and no one ever feels left out or uncomfortable playing it.
Awesome. All right, so that was our review of Codenames, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Just a reminder, we're available on YouTube, so please subscribe if you haven't. We do a podcast available on iTunes. Tweet us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, and just let us know in the comments below what you think about this review and the show. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
I think I do this because I don't feel comfortable with my hands like this. So I do this, but that feels weird. This doesn't.